Hello, welcome to another weekly video. Today I'm going to try to continue my story where I kind of left off was talking about my mother and the dynamic that happened to us after she divorced my dad and married my stepdad. Um, like I said, my sister left home and things were just really difficult between me and her. She just began to take out all her anger and frustration on me. Um, I think that she struggled very much to know how to heal from situations. Uh, I have mentioned that she's a narcissist, but I'm trying to give some examples of what happened between us to let you know, like, kind of where the pain, um, the or what the pain was like, where it came from, things like that. She When she was married to my dad, which I talked about more, I think, in my first video, um, because he was a drug addict, she didn't really know how to handle it, and excuse me, she would give him a lot of chances, and um, well, when she probably shouldn't have, she would put more trust in him than she should have. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we all want to um, give people that we care about more chances, but it wasn't the right situation for her to do that. And like I said, it was just the perfect storm, her and my dad. So um, I noticed quite a bit of her um, taking out a lot of the like things that happened between her and my dad. I know she would take some of that on out on me. Um, Sometimes she would be very controlling. She was extremely controlling with money. I know that kind of thing happens when somebody's abused you with money, and I guess I would say my dad did that. Like I mentioned in my first video, he would forge checks with her name on them and stuff like that out of their account. So she became very controlling with money, and um, and I'm just trying to explain some of the behavior that happened. Um, don't get me wrong; it was still enough pain to cause a lot of damage to the relationship. She just didn't really spend much time between her first marriage and her second. I think it was only a few months. She tried to very quickly get a divorce from my dad and marry my stepdad. Um, so really, the the frustration and all the feelings and bad stuff that she felt in her first marriage, she just took it out on her children mostly, from what I saw. And I'll try to talk about my sister a little bit. I think she went through the most, really. She developed a drug addiction, very much like my father. It was extreme, and she would call and ask my mother for money, and she would make up a reason why. And I think she was living with a guy, and they were doing heavy drugs and stuff, and she almost died from an overdose at one point. Um, well, I'll try to go back a little bit because I kind of left off where she left home to go to school, to go to college, and she didn't do very well there. She got really lonely, and she just started abusing drugs to try to get through it. And it took a hold of her, and she just couldn't seem to let go, couldn't seem to get better with it. Um, to the point where I mentioned she was living with somebody, and just wasn't really in contact unless she needed money, and she was really bad off, and had a drug overdose, and they found her in a hotel room almost dead, and so our family had to have an intervention. and they were able to get her to a program, and she stayed in it for 6 months, and it looked like, she was doing a lot better, but she had nowhere to go but home, to live with my mother and me. And when she came back, um, it was just a bad environment for her, and she went right back to drugs, unfortunately. So um, anyway, um, I'm gonna try to just, I guess, wrap up her story a little bit. Try not to go on too much because there's still more with mine. But um, long story short, she had several drug overdoses after that. She was dating a guy that would find her, I guess, on the verge of death again, and take her to the hospital and stuff like that. And then one day a few years ago, she had a drug overdose, and nobody was there, and she died. I mean, it was unfortunate, but she had just been um, doing drugs for a long time, and like I said, just kept having one drug overdose after another, and she was just in bad shape. So I only say that to give you an idea of like um, what she went through with my mother as well, what I went through. We just went through a really hard time with our mother specifically. She was, like I said, a narcissist, very cold, not a loving, caring person. And I remember a few years before I left home, probably 3 or 4 years, there were two situations where she escalated into physically hurting me. Um, she had been, verbally abusing me for years, and just one day she just exploded and pushed me, and there was another situation where she grabbed my arm, um, and just um, pulled me off a couch that I was laying on. Um, and and these were situations where I had not physically done anything to her first. She initiated the physical violence. Just trying to give you a background, but we were in verbal arguments, I'm pretty sure, at the time. Anyway, those were pretty damaging for me. Um, but I guess there was a point where I was able to talk to her about leaving. And by the way, I had tried to leave home many many times. I could probably tell you about um, 4 or 5 times I tried to have situations where I could find a job and leave home. That was kind of my main goal. I think you'll hear this from a lot of people who were abused. They just really wanted to get away from home. So that was my main goal, to try to get a career and a job. I mean, a career and a place to live away from home. And I kept having problems everywhere I went. Sometimes it was me, sometimes it was um, the place that I went. I remember some misunderstandings that just um, places that just didn't really want to talk to you if something went wrong. So I just kept running into issues. I won't go into that too much just because there were so many. But I would leave home, try to establish myself somewhere, and um, have some kind of issue on the job and have to come back home. So that happened about 4 times, and I remember finally about the fifth time, I found a job, and um, I had planned to move about 45 minutes away, um, and I think my parents were going to help me pay for it. So I had established all this, and I think I was able to get out and maintain the job, and I had gone to school too. I was trying to get another degree to start a new career, and so all that was working out, and And while I was at my job, this particular job, I met my now husband, and we were able to get married and start our lives together. But that wasn't really the end of things with my mother. It's just kind of a turning point in my life, I guess I'll say it like that. Like, um, I was able to get some better independence, really. I had quite a struggle with her accepting my husband before we got married. She had some friends tell her some things, and she was also very religious too. I know that goes a lot into a narcissist. So she was very controlling and religious, and she'd listen to friends a lot of times before her family. So her friends told her some things about my husband, and she just decided she turned against him, and she was trying to convince me to leave him and stuff. But I had to just stop talking to her for a while, and after me and my husband got married, um, thing things seemed to well, that direction seemed to calm down. I decided to try to just invite her to the wedding, and so we tried to, I guess, have a relationship again at that point. It was about 6 months we didn't talk, I think, but um, when we started talking again, I had talked to my husband, and we kind of decided to start trying to put some boundaries in place with her because I had gotten to kind of an unhealthy place with her while I was single. She was always asking me to take furniture or she was trying to give me furniture, and I really had a hard time saying no to her. So I would take things, and a lot of it was in bad shape. And I guess I'll touch on this a little bit. She was really bad about holding on to stuff. I guess you could call her hoarder, and she would give me stuff that was used, damaged. Sometimes she would use the stuff herself and then give it to me. So almost everything that she gave to me, I had to throw away right after she gave it to me. Um, so that's why I say, like, I had gotten to kind of a unhealthy dynamic with her. She was giving me stuff, and I was just sending it to the trash, and so I had to learn to start standing up to her and saying no. She was um she was giving me birthday cards with underlining, and this isn't going to make much sense out of context. It's just something I happened to not like that she was doing, and I was just kind of allowing it. And this is just me trying to give examples of how I had let things get too far with her. I just didn't say no, and I let her do things that really bothered me. I gave her my address, and she was free to send things. Sometimes she would send things that I didn't ask for, and it really bothered me. And my point was, she was doing a lot of things that bothered me, and I didn't speak up about it. Um, so me and my husband talked, and we decided that we're gonna, well, he was gonna help me start putting in boundaries, saying no to things, telling her what I liked or didn't like. Um, I guess mostly it was what I didn't like. So, I mean, if you've ever had to do something like this, especially with the narcissist, you probably understand that it does not go well. They don't like to have their I don't know how else to say it except power taken away from them. Once you, I mean, really, we're probably all this way. Once you let somebody um, do something, once I let my mother give me a card that I didn't want, it can make her think that there's nothing wrong with it. So if I go back and I say, oh, hey, by the way, I don't like this card, it can be really hurtful to the person. So that's the kind of thing I had to do. I had to do it over and over. I did it for years. Um, well, I'm gonna go ahead and try to wrap it up there and um, just make this a part four, or I'm sorry, the next video a part four. Um, my main point in this video was just um, trying to wrap up the years that I spent really struggling with my mother. But I'm gonna go into more about the boundaries I had to put into her once I got married next time. So anyway, I thank you for watching and have a nice day.